Action News Now Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
Boy, it's been a windy day out there today. I don't know if your hair managed to stay in place or whatnot, but the winds have been blowing. We've had winds gusting up to 52 miles an hour in Redding earlier on today. 41 mile an hour gusts in Willows, 38 mile an hour gusts in Cordy, 37 mile an hour gusts in Chico. It was a very windy day. The Chernobyl Gap winds, they gusted to 53 miles an hour early this morning. They typically peak in the late evening and early morning hours there, and I think that time frame tonight and tomorrow morning, close to sunrise tomorrow morning, they could be even strong in that 53. I think we're going to see 60 mile an hour gusts in that area. Those north winds always lower our humidity. Look what they've done to the humidity today. 5% in Chico, 7% right now in Corning, and 10% in Redding. Bone dry conditions. So we've got the gusty winds. We have bone dry conditions. That's the recipe for high fire danger, and that's why we have the red flag warning in effect for the Sacramento Valley and the surrounding foothills and some of the mountains as well. This goes until tomorrow evening, so the fire danger still with us, unfortunately. All right, let's talk more about the winds and what we can expect to see going forward. I think in the valley, we've seen the worst of the winds. It's still going to be somewhat windy there tonight and tomorrow, but not as much so as today. 15 to 30 mile an hour winds in most areas of the valley tonight. Tomorrow, 20 to 35 mile an hour winds, and then after that, those winds really drop off and we get in the clear. Chernobyl Gap winds are going to be roaring tonight, 60 to 65 mile an hour gusts there through the Feather River Canyon. Thursday and Thursday night, still pretty doggone windy, and then after that, by Friday, they begin the process of shutting down there. But again, those are a nocturnal wind. They typically peak in the late night hours and early morning hours as well. That should happen later on tonight. High temperatures today, a whole lot cooler than yesterday. 70s in the valley, 50s and 60s for afternoon high temperatures in the mountains earlier on. All right, let's talk more about these winds. What is causing them? Why are they here with us? Well, it's a simple difference in the barometric pressure. Boy, look at Portland, Oregon. The barometer there right now, 30.34 inches of mercury. That is awfully high. Las Vegas, Nevada, much lower at 29.60 inches of mercury. Some Mother Nature going to send a lot of air from high pressure to low pressure. It gets channeled here between the Sierra Nevada and the Coast Range, and we get those windy conditions across the area. All right, let's go talk about the forecast. Now, in Trinity and Siskiyou counties, we haven't had much wind, and we won't see much wind tomorrow. A little bit, but not like what we're seeing in the valley. So they're not in the red flag warning here. It just looks like a cold night tonight and a pretty pleasant day coming tomorrow with a lot of sunshine. On the ridge, Chernobyl Gap winds gusting 60 to 65 miles an hour through the Feather River Canyon. We're not going to see that kind of wind in Paradise. But again, in these localized canyons like the Feather River Canyon, maybe towards Little Butte Creek Canyon as well, very windy later tonight and early tomorrow morning. In the north end of the valley, 15 to 30 mile an hour winds for us tonight, and tomorrow, 15 to 35 mile an hour winds. Again, high temperatures close to 80. In the mid valley, 10 to 25 mile an hour winds here after sunset, and then tomorrow, 15 to 30 mile an hour winds. So still blustery, but just not as windy as it was out there today. Your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast, with the weekend is always in view. Wind shut down on Friday. After that, looks pretty good. Temperatures upper 70s, close to 80 degrees here through the weekend and into next week. Redding also upper 70s, close to 80 degrees, and lows in the 40s here. So if we can just get through the next 24 hours and the winds die down, the weather looks pretty doggone good after that.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, earlier this week we met an NFL